What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Yep, in this video we're going to talk about Bitcoin going parabolic and talk about what that means. And you know it's a bull season when we're talking about Bitcoin and parabolic rises. So first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the recent price action since our last video. This thing's had a pretty explosive run up. Big pullback today. We'll talk about that. Again, we're going to talk about this parabolic rise. So we're going to talk about how those work. We're going to take a look at the crypto fear and greed. We've got new all-time high readings. We'll check in on our golden fib multiplier levels and see how we're reacting to those. And we'll take a look at some market internals and kind of get a feel for what's going on. So let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
Guys, the moneymaker has been just pegging. We had a lot of nice signals on the 5-minute. Here's a 15-minute on the pullback. And, just been pegging these bottoms. You guys are interested in this indicator, head over to tradelikeagenius.com. You can use promo code Father's Day and get that. This is an annual package to this indicator, and a lot of guys are having great success with this in the room. All right, let's dive into the charts. Take a look at the daily. So, obviously a run up. We talked about these moving averages, and typically when we get into a big run, we start stretching away from the moving averages. We usually will get a first move back to it and then a bounce, and that's currently what's going on here on the daily. Now, we got a few hours left on this daily chart. It does look like we'll most likely put in a nice big red candle, and if we go back and look, this trajectory is, as far as the volatility, really matches up with what we saw in this last push up in 2017. And we saw some pretty quick moves back. Like here, situation where we get away from the faster moving average, a quick move back to it, touches it, and then resumes up. So, that's the kind of environment that we're in. So it would not surprise me if this holds. In fact, we're taking a stab long here. This daily bar is probably going to be a good level for placing a stop below it. Now, as far as where this would go, again, we're going to get into that a little bit more in the parabolic section of this video. But as far as where this came up to, it's just was wiping out these weekly levels. We said key in on this 11,800 zone because of all the weekly failures there, and didn't really do much in the way of pausing there. Came up, even surpassed this other area. We said if that breaks, watch 13,000, and pushed right up into that as well, although we did reject ultimately. But what we really, the level, this thing had wiped out all of the fib zones that were created on this bear move down. We're down to the last bearish fib zone, and this is for the entire move, and that's how quickly things can change in Bitcoin. So basically this 0.618 fib zone, or fib level at 13,488, so just under 13,500, and it went right up to the top here on Coinbase was $13,868 and change, and has rejected. So I think you're seeing that fib zone in play. I do think that we're probably going to hold a bounce here, and one of two things: either consolidate in this zone, and it's probably going to, if we do that, which would be healthy, we're going to get probably a final surge higher, and we're going to talk about these upper levels here in a bit. I do think this is a strong candidate for a local bottom here on this move up, just considering where we are in the cycle, and this will start to make a little more sense as we get into this video. Jumping to the crypto fear and greed real quick. Right now we're at a 92. Yesterday we actually bumped up to a 95, so all-time high on those. So this reading of 95, and now we've dropped down to 92. Again, guys, we're trying to look at where the top is going to be on this move. Nothing actionable here. Unless I see a big drop, then that might cue us in. But I don't think we're going to see, I think that you got to let this one play out and give us a high water mark for a bull market. And they may just break this thing and peg it to 100. They might have to recalibrate what is 100. Maybe what they need to do is go and let this thing top out on the cycle move and then recalibrate. I think that would make sense. Only because this thing just hasn't been through it wasn't around when the 2017 blow off top was there. Okay, so on the fib multiplier, again, these are fib multiples of the 50 weekly moving average, 50 weekly moving average being a big time barometer. Below it, we're bearish. Above it, we're in a bull market. And so a lot of times coming out of the bull market, the fib 2 level has capped the move. As you can see, price stalled out at it and then finally broke through and started smashing through more weekly levels. So this has come up, and again, this is not a live, these on the Brave New Coin Liquid Index BLX, this updates at the end of the day around somewhere between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see where, this next bar is going to be red. So obviously we're going to see a big daily bar down. We're going to be down somewhere in this area here. but the day's not over, so we'll see where this closes out at. But usually once we're breaking above this level on a move, generally speaking, the next level comes into play. Now that's up at 17,016. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as, historically how price reacts to these different Fibonacci levels as measured from the 50 weekly moving average. All right, now let's dive into the parabolic stuff. All right, guys, so here's our parabolic study. Now, the way parabolic, basically the way they're analyzed is they basically are looking for bases. Now, most of the time you'll have four bases of consolidation, and that's what we're looking for next. Sometimes you'll get a fifth base too, but we're going to take a look from the standpoint of four bases. So basically, very obvious, we can see we had one base down here, sub 4,000, another base after breaking above 4,000, another base as we got into the 7 to 9,000 area, and then we've broken out of that. So now what we're looking at is this move here. Will this become the start of base number 4, or is this a one-day event and we engulf it and go back higher? If we engulf it and go back higher, then I'm going to be looking at seeing about a base up here just under the $17,000 area. The reason for that is it's that Fib 3 area, okay, and it's the 2.618 extension. Okay, so this is a fib number, and why that number is there is because typically when you go into these Fibonacci cycles, and we'll look at two Fibonacci cycles that we've had in Bitcoin in the past here in a second, but a lot of times what they'll do is they'll respect, each cycle has its own level that it respects. Right now this cycle is respecting the 2.618 extension. So the way that works is you measure from the bottom of the two bases, so base 1 to the top of base 2, and that gives us an extension of around 93, 96. And you'll notice that's about where this topped out for the subsequent base 3. Same thing is you do that again, bottom of base 2 to the top of base 3, and that extends out to 15,867. So that's where this one has not approached that yet, and why I'm leaving that door open to see if this does flex up there, and then we consolidate something to this effect. Interesting to note, so when you have a parabolic move, you should be able to draw a parabolic arch. And interesting that we've pulled back so far on this daily bar right about to that parabolic arch. So geometry-wise, looks intact for this larger parabolic move. So this is the next part that we need to keep an eye on and see. Again, I think this is a nice candidate for a bottom and swinging long on the dip. We're in a raging bull move here, so you do want to buy the dips. This could chop around here unless on Friday we get a engulfing action, or over the weekend they've been very bullish. If we get an engulfing action, then we'd be looking at possibly getting a base higher, but we should see a fourth base form here. Now, if this does chop in this zone, this is going to be base 4. And if this is base 4, then what we'd be looking at is a move, and then we can basically adjust this. So I was projecting yesterday when I drew this arch before today's move. We can take this measurement here, this fib move, okay? We could adjust it down to this level here. And what that would do is give us a kind of a blow off top toward the 30K mark. Now, the reason why I have this 3.414 is usually on the last leg of these moves, it will exceed and actually run toward that 3.414 level. So what I'm gonna show you that an example in the previous parabolic moves that we've had. So let's check those out. All right, guys, so this is the 2017 parabolic move, much longer, much more drawn out, and that would be expected. Post-halving, you'd see a more sustained rally. So what we're seeing is like a smaller version of this. And this is where you could identify 5 bases of consolidation. So you have a consolidation, move up, etc. All right, this particular parabolic move liked the 2 fib extension. Okay, so measuring from base 1 to base 2 takes us to 3,000, and that's where we had topped out just about at base 3, and so on and so forth. These fib 2 extensions kept pretty much marking the top of each subsequent higher base. And then we had our blow off move, and that took us up near just about that 3.414 level. So that was how the 2017 parabolic move played out. We'll take a look at one more, earlier one. This one was much smaller. Okay, this is the one back in 2015, like a mini parabola. So we had a few areas of consolidation. You could identify like 4 areas of consolidation. Looking at the final one, again, just for the sake of argument, we noticed the top ran right up just short of that 3.414. So to me, if we get that move into that zone at 3.414, that's most likely the last flex of the parabolic move. Follows the arch nicely and then gets away from it and then breaks the parabolic arc, and then that usually ends that cycle. So that's just something to keep in mind. You know, these fib measurements, these fib levels, they end up, when you look back on them, actually do a really good job of identifying, you know, where you are in a move, target expectations of a move. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the move and you get into areas, it's really hard to figure out, well, what's a target. You know, you're looking at previous price levels, but a lot of times these Fibonacci numbers are really powerful as far as potential areas of ending a move or corrections. All right, coming back to our current one. So again, we'll update this. We have to see how this plays out here and see if this area consolidates or if this reverses or if this drops and breaks this parabolic arc. I think that we probably are going to see some sort of consolidation in this zone, unless we fall out of this arch and then we come back down and, you know, break down into the 9,000s, which also is a possibility, but I'm leaning toward this arch maintaining current trajectory just because of the velocity of this right now. So this is something to keep an eye on. This kind of helps bigger picture look at what we're dealing with as far as market structure. And so as the next couple days play out, we'll come back to this, we'll update this and see how it looks. Again, if this is base number 4, you could be looking at a blow-off measurement that's north of all-time highs up into the 30,000s. I know that's really big numbers. I'm not saying that that's going to play out. This stuff has to confirm first. But if this does continue on this trajectory and we do see the types of moves that we saw ending 2017's parabolic run, then this, you know, it's just math, guys, and that's the kind of levels that we'd be looking at. So there you have it. That's the parabolic study on our current move. Guys, appreciate you guys watching our videos. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps our channel out, and we thank you so much for all the support. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Trade Genius.